I managed to blow my nose, during the countdown. So yay! So thank you so much, everyone who's gonna join live, and thank you so much if you're watching the replay. I'm a little sick, but I'm also 5 years old, and I really enjoy my voice when I get sick and I have this raspy voice. I don't know why. I find it amusing. So, like I said, I'm a child. Yeah, that's the intro for this video. So we're going to talk about archetypes, and there's a child archetype. So I think it's not as far as one might think. So I have with me Maria from the channel LadyKnight of Avalon.
Hi.
I think I linked your channel. I mean, I'm always supposed to link everyone's, in the descriptions. But if I manage to forget it, then just Google.
It's there. It's there.
Oh, good. I'm like, I don't know because I'm sick, so, so my brain is not as functional. So yeah, our chat tonight is going to be about the deck. I don't even know what to show. Oh, you have the guidebook. I have the big box and the smaller box because, box in a box in a box, and the deck.
Yeah.
Which is a round deck. And honestly, I kind of like that idea, just jumping into the whole archetypes deck, because I kind of feel like... what did I want to say? How to say this? It's fitting for an idea that is, in a way, cyclical, because supposedly we had these archetypes thousands of years ago, and we have them now. And even though they are changing, their essence is the same. So I kind of like the idea of having a round face shape, because it's going round and round, and I don't know, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but
well, I've always been curious about round decks, because I've seen that there are some, like
I made one.
Oh god, now I don't even know the names of them. Something with mother in the title, and then there's another one that looks like church windows, and oh my god, I'm so bad with names when it comes to the decks. But yeah, none of the round decks that are out there ever really called to me.
Okay,
and
I'm just gonna...
So with this one, when I saw that, I was kind of curious, but it took me a while to actually get it. And I think it was... Oh, yeah.
Just to self-promote a little, because I made a round deck.
And the size is really nice, because that's like something like
it's smaller.
Shorthands. I mean, tarot creators, and I even have not all the cards in here, like tarot creators, please be aware that some people don't have like large alien fingers, so it's like difficult to hold them. I think there's a smaller version of that actually out there. I just don't... I think it's fake though. But I've seen other readers on the other tarot tube use the smaller
Chinese version. Yeah, because the original, should be a big one.
Yeah, because that's like at least 1/3 smaller than this one. But yeah, so where was I? Oh yeah, so the reason why I got this deck eventually, I saw Amanda Ellis read with it, and the amount of information and everything that she pulled from just one card was like, oh my god, yes. And then looking at the picture while she was talking, it just made so much sense, and that's what got me to finally order it, and I haven't regretted it.
You did what? Sorry.
I did not regret buying the deck.
You just said it too quickly, and I was like,
sorry.
I heard you credited it, and I was like, what did you credit? But no, it's just right. But yeah, I mean, it's a very unique art style. So I'm definitely gonna say that there are cards. When I did my video about this deck, I went through and pulled some favorites that I really liked, and I pulled some that I was like, I'm not getting this artwork at all.
Yeah, like this here. Hi, Kristen. Yeah, I mean, overall, I love collage decks.
Yeah, I love
something like this. It's like it's a bit too wild for me.
Yeah.
But then something as simple as this, I love.
I mean, I'm a sucker for watercolor, so I like more of those, like this one where there's
Mhm.
paint. But I understand that it's just a personal taste, so I'm not saying that it's not good enough. I'm just saying that I wasn't drawn to the artwork uh, with her decks because I have the Pocket Animal Spirit Oracle and the Wild Unknown Tarot as well, and none of these decks are here because I was just like, oh, pretty, which it's a good reason, good enough reason for me. I'm gonna get the deck if it's pretty, just for the sake of
Yeah,
pretty, because why not? It's
exactly. Yeah,
art. Yeah. But with these
it's the
decks, it's
first thing we
kind of,
see.
yeah, exactly. And I honestly, I looked at this deck and I think I was the same as you were, that I've seen it in other people's videos being used. And I was very, very intrigued by it because readers were like 100 like 100 pages of information just based on
Hmm.
one card. And when
Yeah,
I first got it and went through it, I got a little scared, to be honest, because I was like, what is this? I'm not getting anything. I mean, but this is where the guidebook comes into the
yes.
picture. This guidebook is brilliant.
Hmm.
Um, you don't get a lot of text. I mean, compared to how much you could actually get,
Yeah,
but this is
right.
one card. But honestly, the description, the keywords, and all the information is just so well
Yeah. I mean, even just
articulated.
leading up to it, the introduction, talking about this deck, like you
Yes,
barely get that with other stuff.
and it's
But
absolutely worth reading it cover to cover because there's just information. So it's good information. Hi, Giselle.
hi.
uh, so yeah, so I got the deck, and I don't know if you did that, but I've seen other people do it, and I think it's a very good idea with this deck. I wrote all the keywords on the deck itself, and for some reason I thought that it's going to be a good idea to write them in the direction,
Hmm.
not in a way that I should have just wrote it in a different way, but whatever. I overcomplicate things, but because you can, there's direction in this deck. But yeah, so it's I think it's very, very useful with her decks to actually add the keywords, because these are archetypes, and some we know the mother, the father, we have an understanding, maybe at least a basic understanding. But I don't know. I'm trying to find, for example, the castle.
I love that card.
I mean, I
It's
don't like
actually one
those,
of my favorites.
but I'm not. I honestly, after I read the description, I was like, oh, of course, it makes sense that it's a place you would protect. It's a place of power, and all these things. But without that, I would be like, castle. So what is
Mm.
it? And I'm not gonna pretend that I'm able to remember this much information,
Yeah.
like by heart. So yeah, I think it's a very, very good idea and useful to actually add keywords. And we have Hannah as well. How are you doing? It's been a
Hi.
while, I think. Uh, yeah, thank you. I mean, I'm working on it, but I don't know. I'm already sick for a week now, and I actually had to ask
Mm.
my boss to let me work from home for a few days, because every time I went back, because I was missing a day last week, and then I got better, and then I went back and I get worse, blah blah blah. So
Yeah. Well, it's flu
everybody
season.
just feels sorry for me.
Mm.
No, just kidding. So I'm just think. I was just thinking. Let's start with, what does archetype mean to you? I mean, I know
Well,
it's
for me, archetype, of course, that always takes me into psychology and like defining certain, I guess, ways of behavior. And
mm,
like, for example, the father archetype is like supposed to be the protector. At least for me, that's how I see it. And the one who is who has that power seemingly, whereas the mother is like the nurturer and the caregiver. and the child has the innocence and all that. So that's kind of like how I see archetypes. Now, I've never, like before getting this deck, thought about archetypes in terms of places or
Yeah.
tools. So that was something completely new for me. And I have to say, when I read with this deck, I don't necessarily think too much about this being an archetype. I guess it's just like an underlying thing for me. I really just like when I look at the cards,
Yeah, I'm trying to find a mother.
I try to get in the picture and see what it does and how I would feel, what the personal thing would be for me. And I don't really use the archetype theme of the deck too much. I know it's there, and when I look into the book, because this is one deck where I haven't written that on the borders, and I was thinking about that, but I'm not going to do that with this deck. And so this is one where I always have the book right next to it when I'm reading, and I go through the text and to get some additional information. But before I do that, I always just look at it and just see what comes through, like what sparks are being given to me by the cards in my mind. And it usually, like, at least for me, when I read, it always happens that it takes me into memories of something that happened to me, a place that I've been to, so something very personal. And like, for example, this card right here is one of my favorites because forest. My hometown has a lot of forests, so this is kind of like a home card for me. Also, Minnesota, kind of being like my second home, also has like tons of forests. So this is like a home card for me. It might not be what the creator intended, but that's what I have this kind of connection with this card. Or
so you use it in a little bit of like a pathworking kind of way?
Yeah, path working, or like for me, it's having a conversation with my higher self. Like this is the kind of deck that I would pull out if I want to have a conversation with myself, even though I may know the answer to my own question. But it's the kind of stuff where I either like I'm in denial about something, or it's like right there, but I can't really put my finger on it. I can't really say what it is. So it's for clarification with myself, basically.
That's so interesting because I have one of her other decks, the tarot, her tarot, which is exactly like the same. It's absolutely it's when I do personal readings, when I want to know more about me or what happens to me, like la 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 la, my life, I use her deck, and it's so. I cannot honestly, I can't explain why this deck and these decks, because now I have three, and I'm very much intrigued by the alchemy deck, but I haven't looked into if anybody has posted more than just pretty new deck, because it's very hard to find actual reviews of decks.
Yeah.
And that is something that I was very much intrigued, because alchemy itself, it's interesting, the topic itself, but I don't know. I'm if I had to guess, I'm gonna say I'm gonna get it at some point because of how well her other decks are working for me. But I'm trying to be nice and to not buy
I know
everything.
someone who has it, and it has been recommended to me, like in a sense that it's going to be even better than this one. But I guess, yeah, the alchemy thing is like a very own topic, just like the archetypes are. And on the other hand, looking at the flip through on some channels, I don't necessarily know if I would go into the whole alchemy thing once again, just like with this archetypes thing. I think I would just use it to channel my higher self once again. But it is pretty. The thing that stopped me from buying it was the price, because when that deck kind of first showed up in America, I saw it was like 24 something. And over here, it was 40 something. I was like, huh? What? No way.
Yeah, and our currency is, like still lives under a rock. So it's like I cannot justify buying such a highly priced deck just so maybe it's good. But I'm also very, very interested in it because it has a shape that I want. I mean, I have a deck that I still haven't had time to actually make, which should be, if I could make it triangle shaped, but I couldn't find any printer that makes triangle shaped cards. It's not available on Make Playing Cards, and if I want to make it custom, it's gonna cost like 100 million, pounds or whatever. So I was thinking that I'm gonna settle for a what is it, like a hexagon shape, because it's two triangles and I can still maybe do that thing. So I was very much intrigued in this deck for the shape as well. But then I looked at the price and I was like,
the price was the turn off for me, because even though I have this deck on my desk, since I'm working in home office still, so it's right there, and like when I do video editing and the video is rendering and that takes forever, I just grab one of my decks that's on my desk and I just play around with the cards. And this is one of the decks that I play with, and yeah, so it's just always there. But I don't know if I would use the other one, like really for
it's the same way.
Like for readings, I have other Oracle decks that I gravitate towards more. Like I like this one, but I use other decks more.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I made a mistake with this one, but I wanted to say what Giselle said, that sometimes we often can't see the wood for the trees, so that the deck helps us to do that, and that's absolutely true. Is that I don't even know why I forgot what I wanted to say. I'm sorry. I have such a brain fart. I will get back there at some point. So I don't use this deck. That's what I wanted to say. That I kind of put this deck on a pedestal in a way, because I was like, oh, this is such a deep and knowledgeable deck that I'm not gonna just use it for pulling just one card and look at it, which is just such a stupid thing to do, because obviously I could learn more about it. And I was very much thinking about adding this deck to the 12 decks that I chose for this year to study, but there was others that I was like, I'm more into the I'm having more of a tarot deck phase, and I'm not really using as much Oracle.
Same.
So I kind of tarot decks won, but I'm assuming that I'm thinking that next year, and it's such a pretty card.
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna have this one for a month and dedicate actually more time to work with it, because I did the study in a way, because I went through the book. I wrote the keywords on the cards, which for me was a very good way to bond with the deck.
Yeah.
I like doing that. I like making notes. It helps. It always helps me. But this is definitely, I also think, a deck that you need to have the guidebook around, because
definitely
there's just so many layers that, I mean, if you can learn that, okay, awesome. I cannot.
Yeah. No. But I mean, for that reason, I'm sticking with RWS, and like Thoth will come later, but I'm still very much just in the RWS
same
reading stuff. So yeah. And I know I'm never going to touch Marseille, because I'm also not attracted to the pictures. So yeah.
I mean, I've tried. I bought a deck to study it, and I understand how awesome it is, but it's based on numerology, and I think that's where I have a problem with it, because I'm much more into the other side of things and not the number side of things.
I need pictures. Like pips are not my thing. So
if
that's actually
well
what
done.
I love, like the pictures of this deck. Like I can just, like, every picture just gives me something. Like this would be something that my boss always says at work. Like we have this he got it from somewhere at some conference called the Room of Possibilities. That when at work we're like brainstorming and stuff, and so everything goes into the Room of Possibilities without judgment, And from
Oh,
there, you take it into the room of, well, let's see what we can actually do with it, where you
oh,
go through everything and see, is it possible? Is it not? If it's not possible, it goes back into the room of possibilities and stays there. And from the second room, it goes into, let's make it happen. But yeah, like the
that's
room of
so cool.
possibilities, like I can do everything in here. And like just something like that, like a simple thought, like something that my boss said, and taking that with a cart like this, just running with it, and then seeing how that applies to me is like, that's what I love about this deck.
I mean, that specific card just makes me think about standing on the deck of a spaceship. That's the view to the
That too.
galaxies from a ship. So for me, that's my sci-fi, lover brain is like, oh, Star Trek and everything. So
Yeah.
I when I saw that, I was like, which
Mm.
it's so interesting because it's a different thing, but we see what we see, what our mind or our soul,
Yes.
whatever part of us wants to see, which is I think it's fascinating. And I think what I appreciate about this deck is, I mean, I understand why, but currently our world is all about how we are different from other people. We're finding ourselves. How are we unique? What are the
Hmm.
what does okay, that's not going to be a sentence. What makes us stand out? And I'm kind of, sometimes I get really sad for humanity. I don't know. It's just
Hmm.
it's the Aquarius in me, and I want us to focus more on what makes us the same. Like what
Yes.
makes us similar. And I do think that archetypes are very, very good for that. And
Hmm.
that's why I read the majors in tarot as archetypes. I don't want to find myself in a major arcana because I want that card to represent the pure essence of that thing. Which I know a lot of people want something different, but I always connect with that idea that this is the essence of something.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also a very interesting thing that we are made of um, all these archetypes. It's
Hmm.
not just one
Definitely.
thing.
Hmm.
We're not gonna be the child forever. We're gonna be different things on different days. But um, I think it's a very good self discovery tool for for especially for
Yes.
people who haven't done a lot of self work, because maybe the hardest part is to figure out how to start. And if you pull a card like ha 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 ha, the self, I mean,
Yeah.
how perfect is this place?
Yeah.
you know uh, you can just start from this card and go literally any direction, like this card shows, like,
Mm.
yeah. And I just love
And
the
also
rainbow
that it's
colors.
coming from within, like everything you need to know is
Yeah,
within you. So yeah,
yeah,
the symbology of this deck is really cool. And something that I really appreciate, like there are these two cards, and it's like this is in that card here,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
this way. So this
yeah.
is the mountain, and then the vision. And these two are also like very, like I have personal connections to these images, and they will always stay the same. Like when with some of these cards, when I see them, it's like, oh, okay, that's what's going on, because what I see in them will always be the same.
Yeah. And the guidebook actually gives you, and the forest keeps coming back, so why not? I made a note about, I mean, I don't know, I'm just showing there all
Mm.
the connecting cards, because there are cards and archetypes that are connect better than others. And
Mm.
so for example, for the forest, we have the maiden, the crone, the hunter, and the shaman, because they all live in the forest. And I really
Ah,
do
okay.
appreciate that, connectiveness, or I don't even know, idea that these are
Yeah.
archetypes, but still, not without any connection to other things, because they
Yeah,
could
I've
be
never made
something
that
that,
connection.
oh, I mean, it's in the guidebook.
Mm. No, I mean, like I don't think about that like when I see a
Yeah,
card.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think I take every, like I haven't even tried the spreads. that are in the book, even though they're really nice.
I haven't
And
either.
I'm tempted to try those with tarot cards, but when I read with this deck, it's more like, okay, so how many cards do I want to pull now? And I just get a number in my head, and then I just lay them out, and eventually some kind of spread will form, but
Yeah.
it's never one that's in the book.
I
Or
mean, yeah. Sorry.
the way that I've also used them was for my year ahead reading,
Mm.
when I don't know if they have this in any other country, but Germany as well. The 12 nights between Christmas and January
Mm.
6th, like the
Oh yeah.
Rauhnächte, we call it in German, where one night is 1 month in the upcoming year. And
Oh.
so I would do a year ahead reading, like uh, each month
Mm-hmm.
I would have like a couple cards with, I would actually make a spread. And then the Oracle deck to go with that would be this one
Ah.
for a clarifier and like additional information of like
Yeah. Oh,
what
that's
else
good.
do I need to know? That would
Yeah.
be this deck.
Interesting. I mean, I feel like you're using it a lot more than I do because
Well, it's just always on my desk, so every once in a while I just grab it, shuffle
yeah,
it,
maybe
pull a
I, yeah.
card, and it's just there.
I mean, it's unfair because I use this deck a lot, but in a box behind my iPad when I live stream because it has such a nice weight that I can
Hey, it has
actually
a
just,
purpose.
yeah, but I feel like it's not a paperweight, so. So yeah, Donna said I'm always fascinated by this deck, and when I see other people working with it, same. For some reason, I feel like it would fall flat if I tried to use it. Honestly, I don't know if you can find someone who has this deck, ask them to show you because um, my experience with this one wasn't like that, but with the tarot, it was absolutely. Then I was like, it's not gonna work, and then I had it in my hand, and I was like, what is this? So if you can find someone who have the deck, or you can visit me because you're close by, anytime I can show you the deck, then it's a good idea because. Or I don't know. I'm always a bit different because I don't have easy ways to sell off or just exchange decks. So I'm
Hmm.
more trying to be more mindful about not buying decks that are just like
Yeah.
ooh. I mean, I should. Let's just say I should. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
and
nowadays I'm like,
yeah.
when I watch anyone showing a deck, like when I first found Tarot Tube, it was like catching up to someone I had been missing out on for years, and all of a sudden there were all these decks, and it's like, oh my God, one and a half, shiny, yeah, gimme. And so I bought a lot of decks. Like I recently counted in the year 2019, I purchased 52 decks. That's basically one a week. And
Oh yeah.
most of them have never been touched. So that's the sad part. And so
Looking at
now
my
when I
boxes.
watch when I watch videos, I prefer to watch those that actually tell me how they use the deck instead of just showing
Yeah.
me the cards, but give me the experience. And so that's when I see someone like, for example, Amanda Ellis use the deck and really get something from it and show me how she uses it. That for me is now more like a selling point. When anyone shows me how it can be used instead of just looking at the pictures.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I changed up my first impression because I wanted to be more obvious about this is a first impression.
Mhm.
Plus, I'm not doing anymore I'm gonna just open it on camera and go through it, even though it was just so much fun. But
Yeah.
I try to actually look through the guidebook and check out the cards and select a few that I like. So at least I say a bit more, and then I come back to it. And I always tell everybody, please post your experiences because those are the even if they are not even if it's a deck that it's not working for you, other people might be like, oh, for that very reason it's going to be working for me. So I don't know. I mean, I try to post more of those even though I haven't had a chance to film one, but at
Mhm.
least I'm doing the monthly after I work with the deck. At least I post one now, but I always nag people, like, please post your experiences because
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't even do the monthly thing. Like I tried that for a while and to see like, okay, use one deck for a month, but then I feel like I'm kind of cheating on my other decks in a way, like I'm just abandoning them. And
Mm,
so that's why I like on my desk I have so many decks out, like they're all stacked on top of each other,
mm.
and I just grab one whenever like I feel like it. And having them all around me, that feels much better than saying, okay, I'm gonna limit myself to this one because like my questions, my energy, everything is different every day. So I can't I admire the people who can really commit to that. I can't.
I mean, for me, it was exactly for the reason because I was so overwhelmed by the choice that I just feel much better because I only have a few decks out. Because now I'm not going, but I want to use that, but I want to also use that. And then I'm not doing any readings because I'm just thinking about which deck I should use. So, and I'm never getting the time to actually know the deck. And I know it's only February, so let's wait until the year is done. But I'm so pleased with myself because I'm not saying I did very well in the last few days because I forgot to pull a card in the morning, but I was sick, so it's gonna be the excuse for everything. But I pulled one today from the supernatural one, and if this is not working from home,
Oh my god. I just need to
and I
plug
was
my
like,
computer in really quick.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm working from home on a laptop, exactly. So, sometimes you don't have to pull a card and get a solution for all your life problems if you do daily pulls. So, um, yeah, Vadanon has a special magic. And I know, and a lot of people kept talking about it, and I didn't see it. Not until it was in my hand. So I blame my friend for it. Honestly. It's her fault that I have like 3 decks now.
Someone always makes us do it. Isn't that the way?
Exactly. It's not my fault. Never.
It's not my fault, huh?
And I'm so pleased when other people are starting the video with this is gonna be an Orsi made me do it. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm kind of happy that I hopefully it's a good experience for them. But it kind of feels like I accomplished something. I made someone else buy a deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did end up getting her tarot, and I will work after resisting for a long time. Yeah, and I ended up loving them exactly. I don't know. I cannot explain, but I would say that there's magic. Honestly, there's magic in these decks, and
Mm.
even if you don't believe in magic, you're gonna feel it. I feel like.
I think what makes these decks so good is that the creator, whether you like the artwork or not, but you can tell that that this creator really spent time with creating this, and it's not just like, oh, let me make a
Yeah.
deck for money. Like there was research that went into it, and really thinking about stuff, making it match, and all of that. And that is something that I can really appreciate. And I think having a good concept makes it also much easier for us to work with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember now, but I think it was half channeled, half, it was like, I think the mountain card was the first one that she created because it was her personal journey that needed to be reach a point to create this deck. And I always appreciate when deck creators share their story when creating this
Mm.
deck because it's fine if you're doing it for a living. I'm not gonna, judge that because why not? It's a cool job to have. But
Yeah.
when you read about something so personal that someone struggles and then it creates an actual deck that you can use, I think it's always also fascinating.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think it speaks to the creator archetypes in all of us because we all want to create in some way or shape or form, which
Yeah,
I
and me
had.
being a witch, I mean, for to hear something like that and to know that like she really put her spirit basically into this, like her heart and spirit and everything.
Yeah.
So that like makes the deck just special in a way. Like
Yeah.
it's there's a purpose behind it. There's a reason for it, and if it helped one person, it can help another one just as well.
Yeah, and I think it shows how much connected we are on a collective mind way, because these are archetypes. These are coming from a collective, a shared collective. So and I can't remember, but I think she also talked about the historical archetypes as well. How they formed, and the psychological ones. Who came up with it? Freud? But no, it wasn't Freud.
Jung.
Jung.
Carl
That's
Jung.
I know it was Jung. I mean,
The
no,
other
on
guy.
a normal day, I would know that it was Jung. Obviously not when I'm streaming about the deck.
It's Tuesday. It's Mars energy. It's like we're all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I have you here, to be smarter than me, obviously.
Oh my God.
Oh, look at me inspiring people to stick to one deck. Like, aren't we just awesome? But yeah, I mean, it was so much fun to actually pick decks. Like, I'm gonna just do this. And or she thought I made me. Oh, the Majestic Earth. I just love that deck. Honestly, I don't know why, but that was also a deck when I was like just coming into tarot. So when I looked at that deck, which was still available on Kickstarter when I started with tarot, I didn't get it. I looked at it and I was like, I could never read with this deck. Who cares? As soon as I realized that would be a perfect deck for me, it was out of stock everywhere and out of print.
Yeah, and now it's
But then
ridiculously expensive.
but I was lucky because I got a factory sale. I got one for $25 because it's supposed to have markings on the cards, and honestly, I couldn't find them.
Who cares?
And the edging is chipped, and I'm like, do I care about the edging? I didn't. I chopped it off because
25 compared to 300 or 400? Yes, please.
Yes, exactly. So I'm like,
Same with the Tarot of Delphi. I mean,
oh, that's wow,
beautiful,
yeah.
but not for that price. I'm sorry.
Hi, Micah. How is Loki? I haven't asked you about the cat. I'm inquiring about the health of a cat.
Oh.
Yeah, there are decks that I would love to get, but when I see the price, I'm like, I can go to certain places with money for decks, because sometimes I'm just like, I'm connected. I don't care how much it costs. And if I can afford it, I would pay for it. But that's a very, very limited amount of decks.
Yeah. I mean, I have a price point. Like for me, it's $50, even for an out of print deck. Like I will not spend a ridiculous amount of money. Like I will search for it for as long as it takes until I find it for a price where someone is selling it for something reasonable and not just to get rich or something. Or sometimes when you're lucky, someone is selling it and they don't actually know what they have in their hands. Like my Atlantis Tarot, for example, which has been out of print for quite a while, and I managed to get it for like $20, including shipping. And so I was like, yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, unfortunately, not a lot of people buy tarot in Hungary, so nobody's selling their, like their grandmother's collection for $5 or something. Because sometimes I see that on eBay, and I'm like, you lucky people in the US.
Yeah. Like same here in my parts of Germany. There's like I don't even know anyone in my place of work or like any friends that I have. None of them do tarot, so it's like, yeah, I feel like the odd one out.
Yeah. Yeah, the bones on her flesh. Which is interesting because it was supposed to never go mass market. It was promised back then. I mean, as far as I remember doing the research on that, because there was a controversy. That was supposed to be a special thing, never to go mass market. So interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna get it because I would be just too annoyed with the whole thing.
Is that the one with the red borders? I've heard that name many times, and I've probably seen it, but just like
I think it's borderless. I mean, it's beautiful. Anatolian made the artwork, and the artwork is absolutely stunning. But there was enough controversy around it, which I went into the rabbit hole and found people who were frustrated and posted videos about it on YouTube.
I never hear about that kind of stuff. Like I always miss the good drama.
I mean, For me, and that's a personal thing, everybody can decide what is okay for them or not, but there's a hex, I think it's called, or a curse or whatever, I think it's a hex in the guidebook that you're not supposed to, I don't even know what you're not supposed to do, like share with the deck, or I can't remember. It's ridiculous putting something in the guidebook of a deck, like, you cannot hex someone who's buying a deck. So I'm like, so yeah, and
Okay.
it was supposed to be just for a selected amount of people who were participating in it in a Facebook group. And I'm not saying it, to stir up drama or to be like, oh, that's horrible. I'm just saying it was very interesting and enlightening thing to actually check people's frustration and some videos that went down, because now I don't want that deck, and that deck is very, very expensive. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that I didn't, because I absolutely wanted it for the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
But Anaturian is actually creating the Tarot of Echoes, and she's posting on Instagram, and I'm just loving that deck. So it's watercolor,
Oh.
it's beautiful, and she's reimagining some of the cards in such a cool way that I'm like, oh, I'm excited for that deck. So I'm gonna get that. It's supposed to come out in the end of the year. Like she wants to release it. So I'm like, hopefully.
Okay.
So yeah. I'm just checking comments. Um, I think it's the Bonestone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because there are some extra decks she has, or I don't know if she still has them. So if someone is interested, then you can buy it for a ridiculous amount of money, because I think she was selling for me ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
It could be okay for
Same.
someone, like a 300 something for I'm like,
That's
not
a
that
lot.
much. I mean, I cannot afford it.
I can go
It's
on
not. It's
vacation for
not
that
that I
money.
want. Yeah, that's too much. That's too much. What? Okay, I missed something. But red foil edging. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was the one that I meant.
I thought that you were thinking
No,
about the.
the outside.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's a beautiful deck. I think I don't even know, the 6 of Wands. Maybe there's the dancer, and it's just beautiful and flowing like dresses. And honestly, I think the magician looks like Gandalf. So it's like beautiful, but yeah, for me it got spoiled. So
Mm.
yeah, I mean, maybe I will get the, I don't know, mass market. I don't want to say no, but I don't think so, because there's just so much irk, like when I think about the deck, that I don't think that would be gone when I use it, and that would be something that
Yeah.
would actually stop me from using it. So, but like I said, I mean, just know, if anybody wants to, check up on it, you can Google it, and you can. I think you can still find the videos people posted. Yeah, Tarot of Abyss. Okay, I have a flying thing here. I'm not crazy. I'm not hallucinating right now. I just, I actually have these tiny things flying here. I had the Tarot of Abyss. I colored it and then I sold it. So I need color, and I think one of the things is that I do appreciate that, even if most of the card, I mean, I don't even know if there is a card without a color, because most of the cards have some color.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just love this black. Like, I think it's either watercolor or ink, but I would say it's a granulating black paint.
Mm.
And I have a thing for granulation. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
there are very few black and whites.
Yeah,
But
but
even in the black and white stuff, there's a lot of texture that
yes, absolutely, and
I
I
can then go
appreciate.
into. But yeah,
Yes,
of course,
texture.
I prefer the color stuff as well.
Yeah, and when the card is colorless, so to speak, it has a reason, because look at
Mm.
this dead end. If this doesn't tell you that this is nowhere to go, you're not gonna get over this one, and you have to accept it, then no other cards is going to end.
Yeah.
And
This, This is the one that kind of overwhelms me. Like there's so much in it. I don't even know where to start. Like you've got all the astrology stuff in there. You've got other like things. Like this one is like
It's
So when
not,
I get this, I'm always like,
I just don't like
let me read the
how it
book.
looks. Yeah, and what did I want? Oh, yeah. So I appreciate the well-roundedness of the deck because it's not like you only have stuff like the mother, and then you only have the light side of things, and it's going to be a nurturing mother because the mother itself can be a very much a negative energy for a lot of people. It can be a controlling person in your life, or you could be the one who think that you're doing something out of love, and then you're just limiting someone. So there's always at least two sides of everything, and this deck does it so well. Oh, it's one of my favorite one.
Yeah, like the pros and cons kind of thing. Oh yeah.
The mentor. It's so beautiful. Some of them are actually I go like, oh, beautiful, and then some I'm like, what? So it's very interesting. Yeah. What pencil did you use for tarot? I didn't use a pencil because nothing sticks on, like cardstock. I mean, honestly, it took me, I think, like 8 alcoholic markers that I tried to find the one that didn't rub off as soon as it was supposed to.
I have one that I love to use because on my haunted house tarot, I have written on, and let me find it.
I made a video about the tarot of Abyss, and I show the alcoholic marker that I used to color it. So check it out.
Okay, not sponsored, but
Faber-Castell.
Yeah,
I tried that, didn't work for me.
S. And it's for it says multi-mark 1523 permanent, and it's for like CD, glass, plastic, metal, and it has like the very small tip.
Yeah,
so with that one I write on. But even then, if you shuffle the deck over and over again, eventually it will of course rub off. So I had to do some touch-ups every now and then, but like this is definitely the best that I have found so far.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. I mean, I have the. Oh, I'm gonna ruin the spider web. I have a spider that I try not to move my pencils because the spider really put an effort into that spider web. So I'm like, I don't want to ruin it because it would feel just mean. I have a Gryffindor, like it was a Harry Potter club. I have the look, Faber-Castell. But it's not the one that I just I forgot I don't have the brand in my head currently. What a surprise. All I have is Faber-Castell, obviously. Which one?
Sharpie?
No.
Those are the ones like better for the edges, right?
Sharpie actually rubbed off. Sharpie wasn't working.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a very weird cardstock. It's a very good one for shuffling, but writing on it was a challenge. But maybe Sharpie was the one that actually worked. But there's a one which I'm gonna go crazy not actually remembering the title that everybody uses for painting and drawing and sketching. Someone please tell me in the comments or in the chat because someone has to know.
Blank. Can't think of it.
Yes, I mean I can picture the pen in my head. It's a brownish color. It's a light greenish brownish color, and I think there's an M in it. I don't want to ruin the spider web, so I cannot check. I'm sorry. Because I can see one, but the spider would be Micron. That's the one. Oh God, thank you, Hannah, because I was actually really just annoyed. Micron pens. They are supposed to be this proof, man. I used to use them for painting with watercolor, so they are actually waterproof. But this card was like, and I just it got removed. So Now that I think about it, I think Sharpie was the only one, and Sharpie is unfortunately not a brand here that's been sold everywhere, so it's not a cheap brand. Only a few art store has it, so I was like, why? So
Yeah. Well, I got
it's
these
annoying.
on Amazon. Let me
Oh,
try this.
I mean, I got these colorful ones from a friend who lives in Germany. And
Nope,
these are
this
the
one
brush
stays.
one.
It doesn't rub off. It stays, dries really quickly.
The brush one?
The Faber-Castell.
Yeah, but the brush. Do you have the brush version?
No.
No? Okay.
Like, I really only bought this one specifically for writing on the cards.
Is that a blue one? Because I think...
No, I have black. I was looking for, like, the one thing that I really wanted to find was, like, as thin as possible because I didn't want to have, like, yeah, I got the S.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I have an excess, like,
yeah.
yeah, whatever. So it's, but this version, maybe it's a different kind because it's a black 199, so it's an Indian ink version. So this is good for watercolor and stuff like that. But it for me it rubbed off from the card. I mean, it looked like it was drying, and it was actually working, and then it didn't.
Yeah, because I wanted to have it like as kind of unintrusive as possible, so that I could, for example, here I have something written in all the sorts.
Yeah.
And so I needed something small.
Spiders. And it's interesting. I don't. Is there a spider archetype? I can't remember.
I don't think so, because decks that have spiders in them are not decks that I get. Like, I looked at this, was it something dark in the title? It looks beautiful, but I think the devil card is a spider, and I'm
is
like,
it the French one?
I wanted to say Dark Woods, but I'm not sure.
Kickstarter, I think.
No, it was. No? Was it a Sasha Graham deck? I'm not sure. I don't know if it was like the Dark Woods or something. Like with lots of black and red in it.
It's either or the horror tarot maybe.
Not the horror, but I think it was the.
Could be the dark.
Was it the horror? I don't know. Like it had a lot of black and red, but the devil card was a spider, and that's like, no, I can't. The deck is beautiful, but I can't look at the spider. No.
Yeah, it's so interesting because now I keep spiders as pets, and I absolutely used to.
I have them too. Yeah. As long as they stay in their
corners, absolutely theirs. But I'm like, I'm not using this place, so because my number one enemies are stink bugs. I just I can't, and I find 2 dead ones under the heater, and I was like, but spiders caught them, and I'm like, yes. So I keep spiders because they are actually helping me getting rid of those, public enemy number 1. So.
Yeah. No, I think if this would have had a spider in it, I probably wouldn't have gotten it.
I mean, the one that I called was the Destroyer. Spiders are destroying the enemy. I think it has a web for sure. Has to have.
Oh, a red and black deck covered in spiders? No, thank you.
Oh my god, no.
No, like that just gives me the creeps. That would be too thinking much. About it.
Verhoxstar. Oh, could be.
I mean, sure, if spiders are the topic of the whole thing, then why not? But yeah.
No, I mean, there are spiders that and daddy long legs, or what it's called in English.
Yeah, we call them grandpa long legs in Germany. Like, they have teeny tiny bodies and huge legs. And but they're the ones that they're usually the ones in the apartments, and I don't care. I just leave them there. I tell them, once you come down, if you come too close, then that's it. But as long as you stay up there, we're good.
That's the unwritten rule here. And sometimes I go around and I hoover spiders up because there's just too many. And then I'm like, this is, like nature. Sometimes cycles ends and there are just too many spiders. So I'm like, I need to. But it was fun. Fun. I mean, I don't know where they went, but one of them managed to lay eggs in that corner over there, and
Oh,
there were at least like 50 tiny spiders in my room at one point,
damn.
and then they
That's a bit much.
disappeared. So I was like, okay, I don't want to think about how many spiders in my room right now because that's a bit too much. Even they were tiny, and tiny spiders are still cool. And I know how nature works. Like half of them at least died on the road down to the ground. So I'm like, I'm not gonna think about it. But it was
Oh
so
my god.
interesting to see them. Like, and I was like, are those spiders? And I was like, yeah, because I never seen that many tiny spiders in my room. So I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, but yeah, exactly. They don't bite, and the only thing they
Mm-hmm.
do, which is like very, whew, when they are walking on the ceiling and they manage to fall off. And I had that happen. That I was reading in my bed, and then suddenly a spider fell on me, and I was like, "Oh, and I don't know who was scared more, the spider or me."
Yeah,
But
we
yeah,
always just see it from our perspective, never from theirs.
yeah, and I tried not to, but those were the days when I was like, I'm just killing windmiller. But I want to check their Hungarian names because I forgot what they're called. Oh my god, someone looked for Daddy Long Legs plushie. Why would you do that? Like a
Yeah,
plush, like
Weberknechte, I don't know. I think I've heard that term, but I'm not sure if those are the ones, like we call them Opa Langbein. So grandpa long legs,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, but we don't. I
At
don't
least
know.
in my part of Germany. Like there's also like in different parts of Germany they will have different names for stuff. So
Oh my god, there's a movie, and I don't care about the movie. I didn't know there was a. Okay, I'm just gonna Google names because it's called something completely different. I think, which is always interesting. How certain cultures name the same thing, like archetypes and stuff like that.
mm.
So while I'm googling, because I cannot let go. Do you have a special card in this deck besides the forest? Because you already talked about, so it kind of
Well,
ruined
yeah,
my
like
point.
these two, but then I also let me see.
Just
Um,
kidding.
the Siren
Oh yeah.
card, I really love this one as well because it's so simplistic and yet it just like right away if I'm looking at something like what's going on and then I see the Siren card, it's like, okay, so this is something that is uh like beyond what I can control. Like there's like a higher force at play or something. And so seeing this card is kind of like I can breathe a little bit easier when I see this card because I know, okay, when this is happening, like there's something else at play and it's not just I might be able to influence it to some degree, but something is
Mhm.
supposed to happen, something is meant to happen, and it's just like, okay, let's see where this is going. Or I also like
Also,
these two with the roses. Like what is it?
uh,
The nectar. And also the
nectar.
way that it's done with like here on one side we have like a wall, a border, and the stuff just can't come through. On the other side it's open, you can reach into it. Like there's just something comforting about this, or even the castle card, which like simply because of the pearls, kind of takes me towards thinking about my grandma for some reason.
Uh,
Even though she
yeah.
didn't wear pearls all the
Peppers.
time, but she had those pearls, and for special
Mm.
occasions, she would put them on. And then also the rose, because my hometown also has the nickname City of Roses because we have a very large rose garden.
Oh.
And so anytime I see something with a rose, of course, there's a connection there. And yeah. And I really like the more simplistic cards in this deck and the ones that
Hmm.
are like so full, like this one. That's just I don't know. That's a bit overwhelming, or like the one that you showed before, or something like this. Like that's like where do I even start to look?
With the earth form. I love the earth form, so I actually
Yeah.
like that one. I mean,
And
this one.
something like when I read them, I don't like when they come out sideways or whatever, I always turn them back the right side up. Like I
Oh,
don't read with directions with them. I really
okay.
just read with the picture, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I love the siren card as well, but mostly because of the colors and how
That
of the
too. Oh my
watercolor
God,
and the
pink and
colors, and I'm like,
purple. Mm,
it's so beautiful.
yes.
But yeah, I mean, and I don't like the illustration for the castle because I just that is the type of like this style doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm not saying that it should. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
we like different things, and that's, I mean, I like more cohesive stuff, even with my collage, or I don't know. But yeah, so I checked the spider, and if I translate it, it's a spider that has a psyche.
Hmm.
That's how it's called in Hungarian, which is interesting. And
Okay.
someone said that they are actually really poisonous. They just cannot pierce the human skin. You're ruining my relationship with this spider, because I'm like, oh, they don't bite. Turns out they want to murder us. They just cannot.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the one that actually made the spider web is not one of those. It's a more on the I'm gonna bite your ass side. So now I'm still being but I can feel like the destroyer coming out of me, or the hunter. At
Yes.
some point I'm like, I'm gonna hoover it because it's just too much. But yeah,
Cat scratching.
I
I
mean,
saw
we
here
call we
the Dutch
yeah
word.
we
Yeah, in German as well, we call them
same
Nacktschnecke, naked
yeah
snail, basically.
yeah Mestalanchiga, which sounds, it's completely different, but it's exactly the same. It's naked snail. So
Mm.
I think it's a European thing then. Oh yeah, someone even said, Hannah said it, that. Exactly, like, yes, thank you for ruining my relationship with the spiders. But um do you have a deck that you like to pair this one with, or you're just pulling whatever it's on the table, or is there a special pair? Maybe that's a better question.
Um, like with this one, I tend to go more classic RWS, and
Hmm, I don't have.
I guess something like this. Like it's just I try to keep something more simple. Like
Hmm.
this would be a little bit too colorful, too much. Like the classic RWS or even the Hermetic Tarot.
Hmm.
Something that doesn't kind of distract from this. Like I don't want too many different
Hmm.
colorful things mixed together. Like I
Hmm.
try to even that out a little bit. So with this one, the classic RWS would be the preferred pairing.
Hmm.
What about you?
Yeah. I'm just thinking, but how I use this deck is usually I pull one as a main center element of the reading, and then I just pull what I would say whatever, but it's not true, because this is also a deck that I use it more so for myself. And in the past few months, maybe it's because of the job change I had, and just life in general, I don't think I only did a few readings for other people. I don't really post on my reading channel because I don't have time. So because I like doing pick a card readings because I can use my decks. But so I only ever kind of do readings for myself, and I use the Wild Unknown because
Mm,
same creator, and I have the tiny version, so it looks really cool when you have this one giant card in the table, and you have all these tiny ones around it. It kind of actually can show you or highlights elements of the center card. If you just
mm,
start pulling cards and you're not paying attention where you put them, you just let them be there, and you're like, why here, why now? So that can be something that is fun. And this is also a very black and white. It has less color. So for example, if I have something so colorful like
hmm
this one, what's the connecting color? in certain cards that are on the table. That can be something that
Yeah.
I love using, actually. I always appreciate, color repetition and shape repetition, because I think it's the human mind, the pattern recognition part of human mind, that I'm like, ooh, that's the same. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's unique. It's just it's
Mm.
being human.
And one deck that I also like for my year ahead readings, the one deck that I used for that one was the Influence of the Angels tarot, which had like kind of Renaissance pictures on it, very muted colors,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was also a nice pairing.
Oh yeah, because it's not overpowering. Yeah, I kind of feel like that with this deck, something too colorful wouldn't clash.
Mhm.
This deck has to have its center stage or place in the reading in a way, because it's just, maybe it's because these are big ideas, like because of the theme. But look at the ocean. Like we
Yeah, this
don't have an
deck, like
ocean, but
if I had to compare this deck to a movie personality, I would probably compare this to Vida Boheme from Tu Wong Fu, the Patrick Swayze character. Was like, today I'm going to wear my Hello Here I Am hat. Kind of like that's the personality of this deck. Like it's very subtle, but it gives it to you straight, but also like not in your face kind of thing, but like let's sit down, let's talk about this. What do you think?
yeah,
And here's what I think, kind of. So this is
yeah,
my
and you
Vida
cannot
Boheme.
ignore it. Yeah, and you
Yeah,
cannot ignore what this deck is saying. And
orthodoxy, yeah.
yeah, um, I would say, I mean, it's not for people who doesn't want to, invest in time. And interesting, in the underworld is coming out with all the earthworms and stuff like that. And the same, like
Mm,
I'm pulling cards that you showed earlier. So it's definitely a deck that you have to spend time with. So if someone doesn't have a time for it, I don't think that they should get it at this
yeah.
moment. Like, get it when you have time to actually work with it and study it and just be with it. But even if you started reading cards like 2 days ago, if you have time, invest in this deck, because I think it can be something that you will work with for the rest of your life if you choose to, because it can be such a deck that is always, I don't even know how to say that, just has enough
Yeah.
that you can rediscover throughout your life. So one lifetime isn't enough to learn and know all these
Oh yeah.
archetypes, that's for sure. And I'm still not a vampire, so
I
honestly,
feel this is a very like trusted companion. It's there for you when you
yes,
need it. It's not going to overwhelm you. It's not going to force itself on you, and like it's not going to be sad if I don't use it for a long time.
yeah,
So it's just always there. But
yeah, and
this
it,
is not a deck that I would travel with. Like this is something that I would only
no.
use at home when I have the time to sit down, like you said.
All the boxes, like, how do you even, like, how like how
Yeah.
it's pretty and everything, but
It's
you
also a
have to
bit
have
heavy,
to,
like heavier than
yes,
other decks.
that's
Like
why I use it,
simply the weight.
like, to hold up my iPad. But yeah, so what I try to say is that, like, don't let it discourage you, even if it looks complicated. It just requires time. But it's not a deck where it's not a deck that is going to make you feel uh, inadequate or stupid for not knowing enough. It's just gonna be like, hey, what do you think about this? Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. It's exactly what you were saying. It's not gonna be like, it's
No.
not a deck like that. Oh, so when I see the underworld card, the song "The Worms Crawl In, the Worms Crawl Out" goes through my head. I don't know the song, but doesn't mean anything because there's 100 gazillion songs I don't know. So, um, is there anything else you wanted to mention? Because I think we talked about
Yeah, I think
everything.
we pretty much covered. I mean, this deck is, especially if you're interested in psychology and all that kind of stuff,
Yes,
I
yes.
think this is a great deck to discover yourself. Like for self discovery and like even shadow work, this deck is really has a lot to offer.
Uh, and I kind of feel like it's also very spiritual. So it's kind of interesting that it's very logical, and we can be, professionals about it, but it also lets your spirit run wild. At the same time, it has magic in it, the pure essence
Yeah.
form, like the one that our ancestors used to work with, the nature, and the magic of nature and stuff like that. It's in the deck, which I
Mm,
find very, very, very attractive, to be honest. I
yeah.
mean, this is like the hunter, these things.
Yeah. I haven't worked with tarot in a magic ritual kind of way yet, but I think this would be one that I would actually use and like to put a card on my altar and try to channel that archetype to
Mm.
like work with it and call on it
Oh,
to help me in a way.
yeah. I mean,
So that's
I'm
one
just,
way that I would use
yeah.
it in like a magical practice.
Yeah, I mean, I only started, go down the witchy path, so I'm like, just like, ooh, everything is so interesting, and I don't really try to use it. And the mostly I do just candle magic because that's
Hmm.
something that I can do without feeling stupid. But I also work a lot with energy,
Hmm.
especially since I did Reiki 1 and 2 now. It's very useful to have a sister who's a Reiki master in your family. And I'm not gonna say that these cards have different energy, because for some people it might just sounds ridiculous, but I can get a different kind of energy out of them if I want, if I really
Hmm.
put that intention in there,
Yeah.
because I kind of feel like, because of what I try to say, I hope, because of the connectedness, because how it connects us humans together, the species, in a deep
Hmm.
level. And that is something that science might explain at some point, that there are invisible to the eye wavelength or whatever that connects each human together. Who knows? Well, we will see. But it's there in this deck, I think.
I think every bit of magic and
It's
all
cool.
that spiritual stuff can be explained with science. We just either don't know the
Yeah,
words for it or we haven't designed the experiments to actually prove it. But I think
yeah.
science and like magic and spirituality, it's all the same.
I mean, I'm not bothered by, it's like people, and what if we prove that God is blah, blah, blah? So, yeah, then you proved it that there's a God in some shape or form. I don't
Mm,
care. Like, at some point, I chose to believe that there are
yes.
things bigger than me. So, if you can explain that these are aliens, I'm not going to be mad, because they are still bigger in some ways than me. So, yeah, I completely
Yeah.
agree. And I think it's a
It's just
very,
linguistics.
yeah, and it's again the thing. How do you look at this? Is it something that connects you to other people, or you're like, go away,
Yeah.
because it's this, science doesn't know magic. Like, are you sure? Like, have you met science? Like, I think
Yeah.
science
I
experiments
mean, chemistry
a lot
class
of
is
them.
basically magic. You know,
Exactly, a
you
magic
pour
show.
stuff together and then it either
Yes.
explodes or you change colors or whatever. I mean,
Shape or form,
mixing
or
together potions, hello.
I know. Exact. I mean, it's one of my favorite thing when okay, it shouldn't, because it's kind of like a Schadenfreude kind of way. When people are like, a religion, like big religions, magic is stupid because what do you believe in? And I'm like, you believe in angels, you believe in the spirit, you believe in. Are you sure you don't believe in the same things that I
Mm,
do? Because
yeah.
this is religion that is like, oh my god, you're spiritual, and I'm like, yeah, I am. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can even break it down to very basic stuff like makeup.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
that's glamour magic. We're
yeah.
disguising ourselves with something, and the stuff is made in a lab, like putting different things together, like chemistry, and then we're using it to get
And
that
clothes are
glamour
the
stuff.
same.
And so, yeah,
Yeah, and what you wear as a like my hair color, when
yeah,
like, it's not my natural hair color. Is it?
yeah,
Some people in the old times would have called
magic.
this one like witchcraft, because I can color my hair.
Yeah,
So or my nails, like, so yeah, exactly. So just give it time, and it's gonna be all
looking at it from medieval times, even like computers and everything we
Oh
do
my God,
nowadays.
yes.
That's witchcraft.
You
It's
know,
witchcraft.
we would be burned on like
Yeah.
everywhere because like I mean a lamp, that one is witchcraft. Like
Electricity. Oh
what
my
is
God,
that light?
witchcraft.
So
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, so yeah, I think we talked about everything. I mean, if anybody has a question, quickly ask me. I should have said that, but and now I'm gonna awkwardly wait until StreamYard updates the comments because there's always a
Cue the
delay.
Jeopardy music. Mm, mm,
I don't
mm,
know that.
mm, mm.
I mean, I know. Oh yeah, that's something. Okay, okay. I mean, I know Jeopardy, but I don't think it was televised here. At least I don't think so. Yeah, we would be all burned to a crisp. Mm, honestly, I mean,
And even that would be magic. That's a fire ritual. So even the
exactly.
church was performing magic and driving out the evil spirits and stuff. Just saying.
Exactly, exactly. So yes, but yeah, I'm like, I'm thinking about yeah, they could try, but I think I have more weapons to, protect myself than they would expect. Like I can just, I don't even know what was I thinking, but like get my phone and be like, go away, like with I don't even know, and they would be like, oh my God,
Yeah.
moving pictures, what is that? So you just start YouTube and they would just run away. So,
Mm.
but yeah, okay. So I don't see a question, so hopefully, it's not gonna come when I'm already finishing this one. But if you have a question, you can leave it in the comments, and if it's for Maria, then either just leave it in the comments and I will forward the question, or just go and subscribe to her channel on Da, and ask her over there, because she posts a lot of very very cool videos. And did you start the roundtable, the brunch thing, or I can't
We
remember who started
started
it.
that as a group thing, but I then
uh,
took over. Like ever since episode 3, I was the
okay, so because those
the
are
mind
very,
behind it, like planning
yeah,
everything.
so the mastermind
That's
for a very interesting series where people talk
Yeah.
about,
And the last episode is coming up on March 5th
Carla.
on my channel, where we
It's
talk about
your channel. Okay,
themes.
someone posted it. Even I think April is gonna be, or she was in the
April, she
last
was
one.
on the last when we
Yeah,
talked
I
about
mean,
queens. April and Carol.
Queen. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because honestly, I'm sorry guys, everybody. I'm just always so behind with everything because
Oh yeah, like catching up with stuff.
I can't watch YouTube, during work anymore, and that honestly that matters a lot. So,
Mm.
I mean, today I was able to like I was like, but it's just because I work from home for a few days. But yeah,
Yeah.
so there's gonna be a few fun stuff, hopefully coming out of on my channel live with other people, not my stuff. Those are always fun, but no. But if anybody wants to do anything, please do let me know, because I love having people on my channel. We can talk about, as you can see, anything and everything. But anything special you want to promote, or video that you did recently that you want people to mass watch so the numbers count goes up.
Oh God.
That was the question you're not prepared to answer.
Yeah. You caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so you guys, you have to watch all her video. That's like it's gonna take a village.
I mean,
So honestly,
the brunch at the round table episodes, those are a lot of fun, and we're kind of going back between Carla's channel and my channel, and just learning all that stuff from how people see the
yeah.
cards. That's really cool.
Yeah, the episode I was on was very, very eye-opening and very fun for me as well, because I learned a lot from other people. And of course, obviously, I watched it because I was on it. So, I mean, I watched it when it was happening. I'm not as narcissistic to rewatch videos I made. So, but yeah, so hopefully there's gonna be a few videos coming up on my channel as well. I posted the Buffy deck recently. If anybody is
I
a Buffy
saw
fan.
that.
Yes, it's a fun deck, and I'm so
Mm.
happy with it. And I don't know where did I put it. It's somewhere. I just wanted to show, but I have invoices all over my desk because of work, so I cannot do anything today. Honestly, it's probably it's behind my iPad because I needed something else. Okay, okay.
It serves a purpose.
Exactly. So Buffy is holding up the fort until the Archetypes goes back to being my trusted old weight behind the iPad. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop because honestly, I need to stop because as you can hear, my voice is,
Yeah, rest your voice. Drink some
I
tea.
mean, I didn't think so, but I can just talk. I mean, throat infection, who cares? I'm just still gonna talk. Like, whatever. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody who was here, who was watching the replay. Hope it was useful. Hope it was fun. If it wasn't, I'm sorry. Happens, but I'm gonna end this broadcast because I need to cough. So, bye, guys.
Bye.